everyone, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. This is episode 6. You might notice that there's 5 of us currently in the party, because last time we got a 5th person to the team, and there is a mod that allows you the stress-free decision of, God damn it, I want to have my dog with me, but I don't want to sacrifice dialogue and relationship growth with your characters that can actually speak. So we have implemented the dog slot mod, as well as the quieter battle music mod, because apparently that's enough of an issue where there's a mod for it. I mean, if there's an issue, there's a mod for it. This has been the playthrough and a game that I've never had to do so many mods like this before in the past, but there seems to be fixes that are necessary, and there are also some really nice quality changes that I think help make the experience a little bit nicer, and that's the only kind of reason why I feel a little bit more inclined to do some things like this in the game. Now, because the dog is an additional party member, what I am thinking of doing is, as essentially a compromise for that, we could be looking at increasing the difficulty. So we'll see how the party operates in combat, and we'll adjust it and see how we go. But personally, I'd really like to have a dog, while also maintaining relationships with the characters in my party. So here we are, Fox Force 5. Last time we arrived in the town of Lothering, I should say. I always want to read it and say Lothering, but Lothering, where we met Liliana, who's now in our team, and it's been a good time. It's been a good time. I had a very long episode last time, like learning about what's going on here. We've got quests to do on the Chanter's board, weeding out the bandits. We got a lot of codex entries. Where we have Liliana's entry here, who is a lay sister of the Chantry, who can beat the stuffing out of trained mercenaries, would be notable enough, but one who also claims to have been sent to fight the Darkspawn by the Maker himself is unusual, to say the least. She joined Alistair and Mapo in Lothering, insisting that she would prove useful. So she basically has dreamed of this day and is like, I'm going to join your group. So this is our merry band at the moment, which is quite an interesting group, to say the least. Obviously, we have to remember that our characters have their funny hats on. So another thing that I'm thinking of doing as well is, because our inventory space is pretty much almost always maxed out, because I have a bunch of DLC items and random things, is I'm going to probably look at selling some of those items for money now. That'll free up some space. I might keep some things and potentially use them, but we might just sell some of them, because I've missed out on some backpack opportunities at Ostagar, so our inventory space is limited. There is a mod to increase your inventory space to the max, but personally, I feel like that might be going a step too far, and I will try and just keep an eye out for backpacks as I find them and as they come through. However, you know, if you don't want helmets, that also takes an inventory slot, so you just basically can't win, you know. If there was a storage container of some sort at our party camp, that might be a good idea. We'll just have to see how we go. But I'm going to do some inventory management. We're going to sell some of these things that I'm not going to wear, and then we'll be proceeding with our main quest. So let's go and go back to the merchant.
Mother is Flemeth, a witch of the Qunari wilds. They also say that washing your feet in winter makes you catch cold in the head, but we all know that is not true. But sometimes they are right, and they are right in this.
You know the stories about...
Of course. You think my mother would let me go without telling me all the stories of her youth?
My mother told me stories too. She was the one who kindled my love of the old tales and legends.
My mother's stories curdled my blood and haunted my dreams. No little girl wants to hear about the wilder men her mother took to her bed, using them till they were spent, then killing them.
Black Widow,
No
baby.
little girl wants to be told that this is also expected of her once she comes of age.
I see.
No, you don't. You really don't.
Fucking Flemeth, like mid-sex, turns to her daughter. One day this will be you. As she's like stabbing him in the heart. Fuck's sake, like post-ejaculation. God damn, that's grim. And this is another opportunity. This is another reason why I want to have the dog as an extra companion, is if I'm going to have to sacrifice one of these people in my party, I'm going to miss out on some good dialogue, you know? All right, merchant.
Don't suppose you're looking to buy something?
Not right now, because I actually need to have a look at my inventory. So we have a +1 to all attributes on my dwarf and increasing monetary gain. Chance dodge attacks and increasing monetary gain. I'm going to keep those. I'm going to keep those. We do have Warden's Oath, a +2 to Constitution. Oh, why don't I have this on? I got this from as a Grey Warden receipt, didn't I? This is in the DLC item. All Grey Wardens receive these amulets after their joining, containing just a trace of the Darkspawn blood consumed in the Initiate's ritual. These amulets serve as a constant reminder of the Warden's eternal vigil against the Darkspawn hordes. I didn't notice that and read it. That'll replace our +1 to all attributes and increase monetary gain, won't it? However, if I put this bad boy on, because it's restricted to just me, and I can potentially... What do you got? You got a +1 willpower, +1 mental resistance. What do you got? +1 cunning, +1 mental resistance. What do you got? 10 cold resistance with your little mud idol. Alright, you can have this instead, right? Pearl of the Anointed. So that'll give him... I'm assuming that any character that has increases monetary gain, that'll go to the whole... That'll extend to the whole party, I assume. Amulet of the War Mage would be kind of perfect for Morrigan, because there's a +5% on all those things. So I'm going to sell it, though, because it's worth a lot. So I'm going to sell that. Feral Wolf Charm. Nature Resistance and a +1 to armor. I'm going to sell it. Mark of Vigilance. +6 defense, though. That's to that, isn't it? Yeah, it is that. Okay. I'm gonna sell it. Embry's Many Pockets. You know what would be nice? If Embry's Many Pockets was an inventory increased thing with its name instead of just a bunch of resistances. I'm gonna sell it. Dalish sorry, is it Dalish or Dalish? I think it's Dalish? Dalish Promise Ring? Dalish Promise Ring, +1 health regen in combat, and a 15% to healing effects received, which is actually quite nice, but I'm gonna sell it. 3 gold pieces, I'm gonna sell it. Band of Fire, +3 constitution and fire resistance would be amazing. I'm gonna sell it though. Wicked Oath, +1 armor penetration, stamina regen, and critical backstab damage, like perfect for a rogue. 3 gold coins, however. I think the Surveyor is not a DLC item. That's just one that we found. I'll just sell it anyway. Oh, actually, +1 willpower. Who needs willpower? I'm going to give Morrigan a ring. You can have... I'll give you a ring, Morrigan. Memory Band, which was made by the Famari. They're supposed to help apprentices retain their lessons. And it boosts experience points by 1%. And it's also worth nothing. And I'm going to definitely... get rid of that as worth nothing. I can't even sell it. I'll just destroy it. We got a bunch of gifts in here. I really do wish that gifts didn't take a spot in the inventory, but that's only because I'm an idiot and I haven't bought things, so I have to live with my mistakes. It's really interesting to get like these DLC pieces at this point in the game. And that is because, obviously, you install the Ultimate Edition and it gives it all to you, so it's more like a blessing and a curse. Makes me wonder if you just, like, turn off those particular items in the downloadable content menu. Do they just get removed from your inventory? And can you re-add them again later? I wonder, actually. That would be interesting. I'm going to sell the shield, I think. Oh. Why didn't I check that value before? Holy shit. Yeah, I'm gonna sell that shield. I'm gonna sell it. I think that's a good idea. And then I shouldn't have an issue with buying backpacks at a later date. Holy crap. All right. So I'm selling these rings. I'm selling all of these. Oh, should I give you a belt because you don't have one? Nah, I'm gonna sell them. I don't want to have too much stuff. All right. So everything that they've got equipped, I'm gonna keep on them. We really desperately need to fix Alistair's situation. We need to get to, I think at the party camp is when they get restored, but otherwise I think we're just going to have to use some of our lesser injury kits. I think I'm going to have to just bite the bullet there and do that.
All right.
All right. All right. Let's sell some things. So I'm going to sell you... Oh, the value is drastically reduced, and that's okay. Like, this is the true value of it. That's still a lot for me in this current point in the game, I think. Makes me wonder if there's potentially, if you go to, say, maybe like, you know, a castle, where you're in like a higher class establishment, they would pay more for certain items, I would assume. I can't wait for that. However, I need to get this out of the way. I'm gonna sell the Helm of the Deep too. I just need to commit to getting rid of them. We're gonna get rid of Amulet of the War Mage. Gonna get rid of the Wolf Charm, Mark of Vigilance, the Mud Idol, the Many Pockets, the Promise Ring, the Band of Fire, the Wicked Oath. Get them out of here. Make me rich. It's really funny that, and I guess we'd be able to buy these back at like full price from this guy at some point. I'm glad that it's not a situation where it's like the merchants, because some games have this, merchants have like a set amount of gold in their inventory, which actually is quite realistic. It makes sense. Like, I only have this much gold, so I can't actually just buy your stuff infinitely. And you're like, God damn it. I'm not sure who can equip a small flawed natural crystal. I guess I'll keep it in my inventory to see maybe when it gets relevant, but no idea. Let's get rid of that. I've already got a dagger, grey iron dagger on, so I'll just get rid of it. Oh yeah, the Edge is another DLC one, isn't it? And it's a dagger. 26 dexterity, plus 5 damage, critical chance, and plus 4 attack. I think I actually want to keep this. I do want to keep this this dagger, because I think it would be just at least cool for my dwarf character to have something like that. Good. All right, we have enough inventory space where I don't feel like super shit now, and we got money too. So I think we can buy a. We are able to buy a recipe for the injury kit from the person in the tavern. So I think I'm going to buy the recipe for that, because I feel like I'm going to be needing to use it very often, because I'm not so great at keeping people alive at this current point in time.
Well,
Oh, also, that's what the loading screen looks like when you have a dog in your as an additional companion in your party. I like that the bones are still here.
I still don't have food to sell.
Alright, where was it? Lesser injury kit recipe, which needs improved herbalism, so I'll probably get improved herbalism. I'm gonna buy that. In regards to everything else, though, I think I will leave it. Yeah. Okay. So once I get, what is it, my skills. Improved herbalism. That's what I might look into.
I shall do it.
That's what I might look into getting.
All
Alright.
to the market. There's not much to be had.
Alright, I think we've gotten that stuff out of the way. There we go. That's our beginning prep work at the beginning of an episode. Get a lot of money. Figure out what we're going to do next. So there's Dane's Refuge. That's the Chantry. We've done this area. We've got someone called Sten over here. So let's go and have a chat to Sten. Oh. Sten is in a cage. Oh! Is this the Qunari that everyone's talking about in the cage?
You aren't one of my captors.
I remember the revered mother mentioning this man. She called him a savage from the far north.
I have nothing to say that would amuse a dwarf. Leave me in peace.
You're a prisoner. Who put you here?
I'm in a cage, am I not? I've been placed here by the Chantry.
The revered mother said he slaughtered an entire family, even the children.
It is as she says. I am Sten of the Beresad, the vanguard of the Qunari peoples.
Qunari. I am Mapo. Pleased to meet you.
You mock me. Or you show manners I have not come to expect in your lands. Though it matters little now, I will die soon enough.
This is a proud and powerful creature, trapped as prey for the Darkspawn. If you cannot see a use for him, I suggest releasing him for mercy's sake alone.
Mercy? I wouldn't have expected that from you.
I would also suggest that Alistair take his place in the cage.
Yes, that's what I would have expected.
I suggest you leave me to my fate.
Dude, the music is so good, right? I just want to like lie down and stare at the sky and just listen to it. It's so good. Wow. I find myself in need of skilled help. Are we getting another party member? Oh god. See, this is why I just want to run around with a whole group of people instead. What did you do to end up in here? We already know that. I could end it for you now if you prefer. Let's say I find myself in need of skilled help.
No doubt. What help do you seek?
I am sworn to defend the land against the Blight.
The Blight? Are you a Grey Warden, then?
Yes, I am.
Surprising. My people have heard legends of the Grey Warden's strength and skill. Though I suppose not every legend is true.
Rude. Would the revered mother let you free?
Perhaps if you told her the Grey Wardens need my assistance. It seems as likely to bring my death as waiting here.
And there you go. That's a good reason for us to identify ourselves as the Grey Warden. They're like, I must recruit this man.
Farewell, then.
To be left here to starve? Or to be taken by the Darkspawn? No one deserves that. Not even a murderer.
Cool. Okay, so before last episode, we were like, we are going to not reveal that we're a Grey Warden because of sort of like the current sort of opinion and rumors going around. But now we have an actual genuine reason to sort of put that information out there to get a Qunari on our team. Sten, you agreed to speak to the revered mother to see if you can get Sten released. Okay, I guess we're heading back to the Chantry then.
You wish something more of me?
What did you do to end up in here?
I have been convicted of murder. Have the villagers not spoken of this?
Who did you murder?
The people of a farmhold. 8 humans, in addition to the children.
Are you guilty?
Are you asking if I feel guilt or if I am responsible for the deed? However I feel, whatever I've done, my life is forfeit now.
If you feel guilty about the murder, why did you do it?
Either you have an enviable memory or a pitiable life to know nothing of regret.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true. Capturing you must have been difficult.
There is no difficulty in capturing prey that surrenders.
You didn't resist capture.
I waited for several days until the knights arrived.
Why?
Because I wished to.
What an odd thing to do.
Either you have an enviable memory
Oh.
or a pitiable life to know nothing of regret.
How long have you been here?
20 days now. I shouldn't last much longer, another week at most.
It's a long time to live without food or water.
Compared to your kind, maybe.
I'll leave you alone then.
To be left here to starve?
Okay. Codex updated. Sten. Oh, look, guys. Either you have an enviable memory or a pitiable life. To know nothing of regret. Haven't heard that one yet. The Northern Islands are remote, lush jungles that harbour cities, rumoured to be the most extraordinary ever built. These are the lands of the Qunari, lands that no foreign eyes ever see. Only the stories of the 3 exalted marchers waged against the giants have reached the south until the arrival of Sten. The stoic giant in the cage was surely the strangest thing the people of Lothering had ever seen until the blight struck. Okay. Let's go speak to the revered mother. And see what we can do.
So I take it you did not enjoy your Templar training?
That's directed at me, I take it.
Do you see any others about who have failed at their religious instruction?
I didn't fail. I was recruited into the Grey Wardens.
And if you had not been recruited, what would have happened instead?
I would have turned into a drooling lunatic, slaughtered the Grand Cleric, and run through the streets of Denham in my small clothes, I guess.
Your self-awareness does you credit.
I thought you'd like that.
So good. Okay. To the Chantry. And I'll be like, hello, I'm a Grey Warden. I neglected to tell you that information earlier, but I would like to tell you now. Because I would like what you have in the cage.
Good day, Sister Liliana. I'm surprised to see you're still in Lothering.
Oh!
It is good to see you as well.
Dialogue.
Is there something I can do for you then?
Dialogue with Liliana as well is great. I didn't know that. Recognizing each other. I want to talk about Sten, the Qunari you imprisoned.
It might have been kinder to execute him, but I leave his fate to the Maker. Why does he interest you?
What did he do?
He butchered an entire farmhold. Only one of the youngest hid long enough to survive. The child said his father had found the Qunari gravely wounded and took him in. That kindness was repaid with murder. The bandsman found the Qunari just standing amidst the carnage. He did not resist them.
Oh. You certain he did it? Well, I mean, it's obvious he did. What would make him do such a thing?
He would not say, though he acknowledged his guilt. Even the seasoned knights who apprehended him were disturbed by the carnage. However docile he appears, do not be fooled. That Qunari is a danger.
What if this causes an incident with his people?
The Maker demands justice, regardless of his race.
Is there any way I can convince you to release him?
Then his next victims might count you and me as their murderers.
I was thinking you might release him into my custody.
And what do you say on this, Liliana? You know your friend better than I.
These are unusual times, Your Reverence. With us, the Qunari might do some good. I am sure of it, in fact.
Were things not so desperate? Very well, I trust you. Take these keys to his cage and make her watch over you.
Thank you, Your Reverence. Your trust is not misplaced.
Nice. I was able to do it without... I was able to do it without having to go, I'm a Grey Warden, which is good. Good stuff. Back to the cage. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume this bridge is like a dialogue trigger point.
Have a care where your eyes linger, Alistair.
It's happened twice now.
Yes, well, don't worry. It's not what you think.
I see.
I was looking at your nose.
And what is it about my nose that captivates you so?
I was just thinking that it looks exactly like your mother's.
I hate you so much. What? Never mind.
Their banter is so good. I love it that he's like literally walking in, and Morrigan's like, "So Alistair, stop looking at my boobs," and I'm like, "You should be worrying about the guy that's eye level with them." So my hunch is correct because it's happened twice. That was the third time. It seems as if there must be certain trigger points in the map to get roaming dialogue out of your characters. So every time that we've crossed a bridge, the characters talk shit to each other. I don't know if it happens every time we just go up and over. it looks like you might have to actually go inside of a building and leave said building. But there you go. So in Lothering, if you wish to have your companions talk shit, walk over the bridge. Everybody talks shit over the bridge, apparently. All right. We have the keys, Sten. Come with us.
You wish something more of me?
I have the key to open your cage.
I confess, I did not think the priestess would part with it.
She agreed to release you into my custody, or it doesn't matter, you can be free.
Perhaps we have different ideas of freedom.
You certainly can't wish to stay in there, can you?
My death is a small thing, but once the door is opened, do you intend me to follow you?
This is an interesting one because this is a moral question of you're freeing someone from their imprisonment, what they've done. We never met this person. We don't know this person. And we're just like, come with us now. Because it's like, it's weird. Because then it's just like, there's this weird prison slavery thing involved. And then it's just like, you can come with us if you want. Or I can free you. You can fuck off. But it is like a moral thing. It's like, well, I free you. And your life is now indebted to me because you were going to die anyway. You know, it's weird, right? I'm going to say if you're willing to come with me.
So be it. Set me free and I will follow you against the blight.
It was his choice now, see? Very well, I'll let you out. How can you help us exactly?
I have spent my life in the vanguard. I know war, and your lands need all the help they can get.
All right.
And so it is done.
So it is done.
I'll follow you into battle. In doing so, I shall find my atonement.
What? Thank you, Sten. Glad to have you with us.
May we proceed? I am eager to be elsewhere.
Oh my god. We got another party member so quickly. It's like, there's part of me that likes that, because we start getting the party members earlier on so you can choose who you want and you can maximize getting to know them with an extended amount of time. But then I'm like, now I have to choose. Now I have to choose who I want in my party, you know what I mean? That is going to be my struggle with this game is, so far, everyone who's jumped in, I'm super curious about, and I want to know more about them. However, I'm gonna get to know Sten for a bit. He's my level 7 warrior. So we've got 2 warriors, 2 rogues, a mage, and a warthog. Considering they're both warriors, I'm trying to look at this from multiple perspectives. There's your story character perspective of getting to know them. There's your gameplay perspective of having multiple people in the same party, and party variety in combat is good. It's a tough one. I'm gonna have Liliana back out for a little bit.
Of all the...
And she's gonna be mad about it. I'm gonna bring Sten in. Why can't I bring him in?
Blast and damnation.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, there we go. It wouldn't let me take him.
Vashaden.
Vashaden.
Yes.
Yes.
Vashaden.
Vashaden.
Yes.
I just want to see if they have different dialogue, because sometimes they say different things.
Vashaden.
Looks like he only says these 2 things.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's go. Goodbye, Liliana. Something that is nice, though, is it does look like we can change the party whenever you want. So that is actually kind of cool as well. So we can change party members. So I'm wondering, now that we've had a dialogue interaction, I can run over the bridge of talking, and we could have maybe some Sten dialogue take place or something. At the very least, we'll be able to get to know everybody and talk to them about stuff when we go to the party camp. So that's good. So we now have 6 total people in our party, including a dog. We should probably look at Sten's inventory, shouldn't we? Because he got nothing. So we're going to give him a long sword. Shit. Shouldn't have sold. Well, I didn't know I was going to get a party member. Here, have some robes. Some chastened robes. And you're a warrior, so I at least give you a shield. So you can have something at the very least. I sold all of my other shit. So, sorry? Is what it is, I suppose. I don't have foresight of that caliber. Let me have a look at your tactics, sir. Any activates Threaten. Enemy health over 25% mighty blow, and a target using a melee attack, sunder arms. That's a good tactic to have. Let's have a look at his talents. So he is powerful. The warrior has greater health, threaten, precise striking, and taunt. And he's a two-handed fighter. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a second. Wait a minute. Yeah, get that off. Get that off, Alistair. Alistair had my two-handed sword in the secondary slot, didn't he? Yes, he did. Okay. Sten, it's your lucky day. You have a chastened flat blade with your chastened robes. You are now a member of the chastened. Is this problematic? I don't know. There we go. So he now has a two-handed weapon, which fits his talents. So he's got pommel strike, indomitable, sunderarms, mighty blow, and powerful swings. Nice. Glad that we checked this so we could see that he's a two-handed weapon fighter, and he has maxed out combat training immediately. So there you go. 28 strength. Sheesh. My world explored 12%. Also, don't look at my total time played. I've sat in menus, not even playing the game a lot in between episodes. It's hard to keep this game, to remember to turn this game off. One time I minimized this game and I went and did something for a whole day, and then I was like, oh, I didn't turn my game off. So don't pay that no mind. Okay, now that I've got Sten with me, we've got the Chanter's board to weed out the bandits. We've got a whole bunch of stuff for the Blight. And then when we go to Red Cliff, we can complete Rigby's last wish. Okay, let's do weeding out the bandits, I would say. There is notice on the Chanter's board about bandit groups lurking north of Lothering. This is north of Lothering, assuming that our mini-map is always pointing to the north with that little N at the top there. I'm going to assume so. Let us head north. These are not bandits, these are refugees.
We done heard what was said. You're a warden. I don't know if you killed King Kalen, and make her forgive me, I don't care. But that bounty on your head could feed a lot of hungry bellies. Attack!
Oh, I didn't... Oh! Ears, please. Okay. No dialogue option to, no dialogue option to, get out of that one. I was like, maybe we could talk him down. I'm being ambushed? Oh, you are fucking kidding me. All right, refugees, time to die. Let me see what I can do here. Well, I guess let's have this battle take place where they're all yelling at us. First and foremost, I'm gonna get behind these guys. Yeah, I can have my dog do Dread Howl to stun them all. I can have Alistair do precise striking. I need to get Morrigan out of here to do some long distance attacking. And I am going to dual weapon sweep.
Here, you Qunari!
Nice. I think this is exactly what I wanted to take place. That's nice. Alistair's in trouble. Oh, don't crash! Don't crash! No! Oh no! Game crashed. Okay, cool. All right, so the game crashed. So that was fun. I don't know if that's too many people on screen, or if that might even be something that's going on with having the dog in the party as a member confusing the game. Who knows? We will figure it out. That is unfortunate. We'll probably have to get used to that happening. We will see. We'll see how we go. What we're going to do is I'm going to open the tactics menu for Morrigan. Now, what I want her to do is have a ranged behavior. Alistair, defensive. Sten, let's have him be aggressive. And with Morrigan, I would like to... So drain life when her health is below 50 is interesting. Surrounded by at least 2 enemies, Mind Blast. That's cool. Being attacked by a melee attack, Horror. Winter's Grasp. What I want to do, I think, is ally. Do you have anything that's like... What is Winter's Grasp? That's the... Winter's Grasp is the... It'd be nice if you could hover over it and it would tell you what it was, but I have to go into this... What is it? The Talents menu to find out. So, Winter's Grasp and Frost Weapons. So Winter's Grasp is enveloping the target in frost, freezing low-level targets, and Frost Weapons is allowing the having the party's weapons to be frosted, which is nice. Mind Blast, Entropy, a Hex, Mental Manipulation, Cowering and Fear, and Training Life. Spider Shape. We need to get Healing. We need to learn Healing. That's going to be my... I think getting Morrigan to learn these spells is going to be my favorite part. So, in the tactics thing, we're going to have ally nearest visible, and we're going to have... Well, here's the thing, right? I don't have the ability to do the frost weapons. It just says Winter's Grasp. Oh, shit. I've got frost weapons here on the quick menu, but I can't put it in tactics to an ally. Oh, because it's activate mode. Okay. Ally nearest visible. Actually, what could I do? I'm trying to figure out how I could get that to just like ally. Should I just say any, and then it'll just go, because it buffs in like a radius, does it not? I'll just say any ally activate frost weapons, and then that should go for everyone, so we should have some buffed weapons. I want that to be sort of like at the beginning of combat. And then you probably won't be 50% health at the beginning of combat, so I'll drop that down. Ranged behavior. So we got... I'm going to save that. And then Alistair. Surrounded by at least 2 enemies, can taunt. Being attacked by a ranged attack, which is not going to come into play in this battle. I'm assuming if it's red... If it's red, does it mean that it won't activate? I should probably... Let's have a look at my controls in my codex. Party members' general behavior can be configured using the drop-down menu. Charging enemies, be more cautious. Lets you set up automatic actions the party member will take in specific situations. They're displayed in the numbered list, which requires a condition and an action. It determines whether to execute the tactic. It doesn't mention the color of said tactic, because I'm reading red and I'm going, is it not compatible? Can you not use Shield Bash when the enemy health is over 75%? You know what I mean? Even though they are attacking ones, I'm not sure. If anyone could clarify, that would be good. Because or is that just more, it's red because it's a physical thing? Oh, actually, hang on. I think it might be red because it's like a physical attack, like it's an attacking tactic. Or it's ones that are... Oh, I think it's the ones that are specifically about... specifically enemies, I think. So the red ones are enemy tactics. and then just the normal ones are like self. Okay, I'm fine. I figured it out. So I'm gonna have these tactics in place. I save a game after doing that, and we're gonna see what happens in this fight. So we've just been instantly. Okay, the game's crashed. Now the game froze. So I am not sure. So it's crashed just with Morrigan activating frost weapons. It's not even like combat. Oh no, it's crashed. So what I'm thinking we're gonna have to do,
Blast it.
just to, going into this, is God, it's weird that you can put it in your party, but it still appears there at the same time. But we're going to try and disable the dog mod by putting it in our party and then not enabling it when we load on in. Turn that off. And unfortunately, it doesn't like us loading into the game without it. Interesting. It's still there, but it is in our party. So I think it like almost alters things completely.
Blasted.
Yes, that's just like that's just like permanently there now, that little circle, which is my war dog. That's an interesting thing with the mod, is I guess it just sits it in there. Okay. Follow-up plan is
Yes.
Indeed.
have people in my party. She casted frost weapons and it didn't crash. It didn't crash.
Yes.
And looking at this is not in my party right now either. So there's only 4 of us. And it didn't crash the game. So that might need to be what happens. So downloadable content, dogs out. I can now resume and it's not asking. There we go. I can now resume and it's not saying I need to have it there. It's just grayed out. So I guess that must be the source of the game crashing, is like Morrigan goes to buff the party, or there's something that happens in combat with having an extra companion that's not meant to be there and it's fucking with things. So we might not be able to actually have that play out, which is a little bit unfortunate, because I would like to have dog as well. So if I enable it now, load on in and accept, now my dog is there. Morrigan no longer activates frost weapons because it's already been activated. And then we're going to enter combat with the dog and see what happens.
We don't know what, but that...
Attack! When they scream at us.
Anon esam gun! As you say.
You're ruling and save some dignity.
We'll see what happens when Morrigan starts doing some spells, hey? I guess that's when we'll find out what happens. And I should really use that lesser injury kit on Alistair, shouldn't I?
Wipe them out.
Poor Alistair. Alistair is getting ganged up on. Look at this shit. They only want me. It's because I've done threaten, isn't it? It's because I've done threaten. I'll just make him run, and they can attack him while they're running.
Battle, I see.
This is who needs tactics when this is what you can do instead.
It's your time to die.
What the fuck? That must have been threaten, right? Was that threaten in action? I would have assumed I would have seen it down here. It's got an item set bonus and frost weapons and 3 injuries, but that's a good tactic. There you go. Get everyone to be like, "Hey, over here," and then they all chase after you. And then the other characters can just fuck them up. So there you go. The game didn't crash that time. So we will we'll keep an eye on it, I guess. I suppose we will keep an eye on it. Oh, it's on a cooldown. I can't makes sense. Here we go. Alistair's the one who keeps dying, so we'll just put it on his quick bar to heal his injuries. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. That was a bit unfortunate.
All right.
But I guess that is what happens when you try and get the game to do something that maybe it's not, you know, wanting to do or supposed to do. So it might be tied to the dog. It seems more than likely it is. However, we made it through combat and we buffed out Morrigan, buffed our characters, and we did it. Okay. We did it. And we just had to slaughter a bunch of refugees to get there. We didn't even get to talk our way out of that one peacefully, so that was great. This looks like it might be a collection. Oh, these are our Ash Warriors. Nope. I just saw the Mabari Warhound and I was like, oh, this could be those Ash Warriors that we heard about. But no, it's bandits and a mercenary archer and a bunch of dogs. Okay. Cool. I have enabled pausing at the start of combat again to allow me to get a bit more of my bearings at the beginning of combat. I want to transform Morrigan into a giant spider. I want to see what happens.
Let's finish this.
We get into battle so quick from a distance here, and then I guess they'll charge to us. Yep. Oh shit, they're attacking. All right. Let's try turning Morrigan into a spider. Let's have a dog to dread howl. And I am going to get behind these characters. Oh! Where's that spider at? Oh, she's a giant spider! Genuinely is a spider.
Now we do battle. Shall be done. It begun.
I can't get behind this guy because he's really focusing on me. Sten's in trouble with this wolf. Oops, sorry, Sten. Oh. Holy shit, man. This is hectic.
Make us be wary.
Look at this. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sten. Morrigan's a spider. Do you mind?
It shall be done.
I'm just trying to get my backstabs in here. Leave me alone. I clicked on drinking. Thank you. Okay. Flawless. And nobody died. I can't believe that Morrigan is a spider. That is so fucking fucked up. I love it. Stan, wake up. Okay, there we go. I just had to return to him. Not Sten with the cracked skull. So we can definitely oh, hang on, wrong item. We can definitely sort of come to terms with the fact that I'm not super good at taking on enemies in a group, but I'm giving it my best valiant attempt there. Trying to, you know, engage in tactical stuff at the beginning of combat, but sometimes you just still get overwhelmed with enemies. Like they'll all sort of like fucking pinpoint on you. So my rogue can't do backstabs while I have 3 enemies just like constantly zoning in on me. So another thing that's really interesting is I can't activate stealth inside of battle, but it keeps going into battle when you're like 50 meters away from them and they haven't even acknowledged your existence yet. I kind of wish that there was a little more forgiveness with that. But I will be able to level up stealth to try and use it in combat. I know that it has a higher level at the very least. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I am liking the wolf's dread howl though, which is very cool. How long does Morrigan stay a spider? It just okay. How do you turn back to normal? You get poison, spit, and web. Can you just okay.
You would like something?
What do you wish of me? If you must.
You are a spider?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Okay. Your mother has been doing this for a long time then?
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
That is good to know though. So Flemeth would like fuck a guy and then turn into a giant spider immediately. And Black Widow him. Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
Okay. What do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
Mm-hmm. Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell, and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Well, I'm glad that I've got to have a beautiful conversation with a spider today.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the Chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could. But as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
By practitioners, you mean apostates, don't you?
Not all apostates use the forbidden blood arts. Maleficarum do, but to condemn all who do not fall under the circle's thrall for the sake of what might be is a dangerous path to walk. There are those who look on the word apostate as meaning freedom. Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
If I'd known there was this much dialogue that I could get out of this scenario, I probably would have spoken to her when she was not glitched as a spider. Maybe tied to a flagpole and tickled.
I wouldn't advise it. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Okay. Hey, Mark. Oh god, I was scared that that was about to just crash the game. It didn't crash the game, but we did get Morrigan approves. Morrigan, can you...
As you wish.
What happens if we turn you into a spider again? Cool, okay. Now you're a normal spider again. Can we get you to maybe not be a spider? Can we get Morrigan to turn back, please? Alright. Shall we just all go into town with a giant spider and just see what happens? I messed up real bad. I'm scared to... Hang on, let's make a new set. I'm going to just keep making new saves only because of the sheer amount of potential fuckery that can happen here. So we're going to turn Morrigan back into that. And then I'm going to save my game. And then I'm going to reload it. And I'm going to see if she's normal. Perfect. We know how to get Morrigan out of spider form. I actually want to see it take place now. Yeah, so see it? Spider shape. You are a spider. And then... Okay, we fixed it. You are no longer turning back and forth.
Warden.
Oh, man. All right. Good. This has been a fucky wucky 20 minutes, hasn't it? It has. I actually need to change Morrigan's tactics now because she's just going to use... activate frost weapons at any point. Can I do it when it's like in battle? Like... This is the thing. I'm like, can we do it when... I could do it when like surrounded by enemies. Maybe when we get into it. I want the trigger to be... I guess the only time I could probably set it up so it's in battle is being attacked, right? So as long as we're being attacked by a melee attack, can activate frost weapons, right? I think that'll save our issue of her just activating it constantly and potentially putting our save file in danger of the game just crashing. I wish to capture all of the trials and tribulations that are taking place, so we can you get to see what I'm going through here as we adjust to this. But yeah, it is very interesting. All right. Well, I no longer have a problem with Morrigan as a spider, so we can proceed. Okay, there are people in the distance, so while we're far away, I'm a stealth.
Sometimes silence is best.
Okay, I'm gonna stealth way ahead of time. Alright, we're in combat. I'm gonna get you to hold still, everybody. The only problem with this is, like, once I get caught, I'm on my own. And then I get, like, overwhelmed, you know? So I can, like, stealth in here, but it's almost not worth it at this current point in time. Because, like, what? I'll come in here, I'll be on my own, and I'll get, like, one backstab in. That's the kind of... It's tough, actually. So, like, I can get these guys to come in. All right, they'll come into combat now.
Now we get out.
And then, because I'm here, I can try and get, like... Try and fuck this guy up from behind.
Dirty. Oh, this should be good.
I'm gonna have another Dreadhound. Look at Alistair there doing his little... So he's doing taunt. So now everyone's going to focus on him, and that's why he keeps getting so many fucking injuries. Because everybody just wants him.
On while you can. I am your death.
So I'm just going to do this. I'm walking so slowly.
Fear me.
Quickly, we must fight.
It's your time to die.
Alistair's got to level up as well, which is good.
Now we get our hands dirty.
So using taunt is a great idea. And then I just run around like crazy.
Stay with you.
Perfectly handled.
Blood.
See, frost weapons are great. There we go. Quest updated. You killed 2 of the bandit groups north of Lothering. 1 group remains. Alright, so 1 more. That scarecrow is great. Okay, we got some money. That's good. And some health. Lovely. Okay. If I make it through a combat encounter where nobody dies, I feel I have done a decent job. I'm going to give you some constitution, because I think you, with the amount of taunting that you do, sir, I'm going to just bump up your health a little bit more. Threaten, which again is kind of similar to taunt, drawing them away from other enemies. And we're going to do a bonus to defense and increased chance to shrug off missile attacks, because we need to make him our tanky character. So I'm going to put shield expertise in there, which means we should add it into his tactics. So when he's surrounded, he uses taunt. When he's being attacked by a range attack, he uses shield cover. Let's go for shield defense when being attacked, right? So self being attacked by a melee attack, and it will activate shield defense. Because that one also helps with ranged attacks, so we'll prioritize that. And then we'll save that, I guess, as custom. Okay. There we go. 1 more bandit group remains. I would like to reassure you as well, because I can look at the, how long this episode is at the moment, and there's probably people that are like, you haven't done anything yet, and it's been an hour.
As you say.
I'd like to at least reassure people that this is going to get much, much smoother as we go along. We're just jumping through some technical difficulties and also just getting used to how things operate. So I do appreciate some patience, because I'm heavily enjoying getting invested in this series on every perspective, from a story perspective, gameplay, all of it. And we're going to start getting a bit more into tactics as well before our fights. At least we can buff all our weapons with frost as we go into this. But here's our other group. And here's the thing. With stealth at the moment, I'm not really feeling like it's like, all right, cool, I'm going to stealth in here. Maybe if it was me and Liliana, because the 2 of us could come in there and both do an attack together, because there's just 1 rogue. But at the moment, it's just not super viable, because what would happen is I'd run in there, you spend so much time getting 1 attack in. Like, it's good for, I think, scouting out a scenario. Like, when we did it in Escaping Barat's prison, like, we were able to, like, map out where we could go. That was really good. But I think in regards to going up against a group of enemies, it's better to just go in together. Okay. And the good thing is with Alistair using using taunt is they'll go for him, and then I can go for the ones that are facing him to get a backstab in. Alright, Morrigan's staying at a distance, which is good. Am I stuck? I'm stuck. That must be the ranged attack making me stuck. Alistair is the target of everybody's attacks, so I'm going to start just moving him away so he doesn't die. I feel like this is going to be a... Oh, he's dead. I was like, I feel like this is going to be a consistent trend in battle, is running around with Alistair a bit. And now I'm dead. We're all dead. Okay.
Now we get our hands dirty.
Oh, it's because there's a fucking bandit leader. Okay, I'm gonna freeze him. I'm gonna die. The fact that I made it through there with only 1 bandit left is Great. I survived. Morrigan, survival of the fittest. I'm gonna run away. Oh man. If only I had the ability to just heal, but at least I can have these. So you're gonna use that. So you can at least have full health.
I shall do it.
Oh shit, Bandit Leader's got a bunch of heavy chainmail stuff and a spirit shard. Nice, that's going to be great for Sten then. Yay, all my people got up. Alright. I was hoping they would get up so I didn't have to go take on this bandit on my own. Okay, everyone is now suffering from an injury, except for Morrigan. Even my dog has a cracked skull.
We have much to do.
Okay.
I am ready.
As you can clearly see, I'm not so good in those group scenarios yet. I still get very overwhelmed very easily. And before I know it, my characters are dead. And it's unfortunate. There we go. Sten with his beautiful little hat on. Sometimes it just comes like so quickly. Like you just get overwhelmed. You're like, oh shit, all my characters are dead. I didn't notice that that bandit leader was just fucking crazy as well. All right. I've equipped heavy or massive armor. While these grades of armor offer excellent protection, be aware that they reduce the character's attack speed with bows and crossbows, although the Master Archer talent eliminates this penalty for the heavy class. Weighty armor also tends to cause more fatigue, which is a percentage increase in the mana or stamina cost to activate a spell or talent. That's fine, because Sten has big sword, and he will swing big sword to achieve victory. All right, let's take out this single surviving bandit. See, this is a scenario where I could have activated stealth ahead of time. Not critical shot. Run. Oh, in my head. Not shattering shot. Get out of here.
As you say.
He dirty fighting to me. God damn it. Look at that. That was easy. Had no difficulty with that. That was fine. Alright, we've killed all 3 of the bandit groups north of Lothering. Wonderful. And we get loot, baby. We get an iron axe. And then let's, a studded leather helm. Is there anyone in need of a studded leather helm? Let's have a look. What is this? This gives, +2 physical resistance. You need that. Way more than everybody else. Way more than mental resistance. Alright. So we handled that perfectly. Everything went flawlessly. Game never crashed. We never had any deaths. Like, I'm clearly, you know, only 10% into the game, and I'm an expert. And I've mastered the whole entire gameplay loop. And that's really exciting, right? Because there's nothing more to learn. So there's no progress to be made. Which is what everybody expects of me, to be a master of the game immediately and have a deep understanding of every single gameplay system. We nailed it. Let's go to the job board and get paid. I'm going to keep saving frequently in case a game crashes.
Let him take notice and shine upon thee, for thou hast done his work this day.
Nice. Okay. I got 3 gold pieces. I'm going to take it.
I shall do it.
Oh, we got more. Okay, so they just keep adding more to the bounty board. When bears attack, on behalf of Thed the farmer and his departed son, I inscribe this missive. As the Maker is my witness, I charge all those with knowledge of arms and armor to brave the dangers of the northern wood, to find the family of bears that mauled and killed the boy Enith, for they are an abomination in the Maker's sight, and their hides would prove great comfort to the northern farms and solace for Thed's family. As Chanter for Lothering, I do pledge a sum of 1 sovereign to whoever carries out this, the Maker's will. Exercise caution first and foremost, may his light bathe us all. Nice. Mark it with the seal, for it is mine to do. Cool. We'll just have Morrigan turn into a bear and make friends with them all. A last keepsake, and thanks to all villagers who've opened their barns and crofts to the refugees in these dark times. Well, there's certainly a lot more beds and places to sleep after I just slaughtered like 20 refugees. So that's good too. The Chantry regularly hears praise from our visitors, and your virtuous deeds are mentioned in many prayers. Sadly, there is a lone boy in the village whose mother good wife Saha is missing, as she has been missing for the better part of a week. As of this writing, she is presumed dead. May the Maker bless her passing. She was a lady of middle years with red hair and fond of a green cloak. That's that boy that we spoke to last episode. This is his mother. If any traveller or resident comes across her in the wilds, please return her body or the effects of her remains. In later years, the boy will be thankful to have such keepsakes to remember his brave mother by. The officer of the Chanter will compensate this kindness with the sum of 50 silvers. May the Maker turn his gaze on us all. I'm definitely going to look into doing these when they pop up. I think it's very useful, not only for a money thing, but there is like some good, it looks like there will be some good like story follow-ups here as well. So we're going to, oh, what's really interesting is I guess the Chanter's board just being one quest just has everything in there. So that's cool. So we'll just follow these white marks. And I do think as well, having this quest or like doing this Chanter's board at this particular time when the game has opened up quite a lot and we've got new party members and everything like that, is it really does help me get more and more familiar with the game and its systems, you know? So let's head out this way. Oh god. There's a bunch of fucking wolves. Okay. Was the mother just literally mauled to death by a whole pack of wolves? Alright. Let us engage. Okay. Oh shit, there's even more reinforcements over there. Okay. Morrigan, frost weapons. Here's the thing. I may as well just turn that tactic off and just have Morrigan do it at the beginning of battle. I'm not sure on the range of it.
As you wish.
I'm going to try and get behind him.
A bit more dying, please. Let's make this quick.
Holy shit. There's so many wolves, dude. So while this combat is I feel like I need to take like, it's so funny that the sound effects. It's so funny that the sound effects just keep playing when you pause. It's a little bit stupid, but I feel like I just need to constantly pause regularly just so I can have a look at the health bars, because it's really funny. Sometimes I'll be in combat. I'll be like, okay, everything's going so well. I'm managing everybody. It's great. And then I glance to the left. I'm like, cool, everybody's health is good. I'll look back to combat. I'll glance at the health again and someone's dead. Like, it can just happen like so quickly. So I feel like I just need to take the moments to just be like, all right, pause. How is everybody? You know? Alistair is taunted, so they're all focusing on him. Oh god, he's starting to take that damage. So this is where I use shield defense. A defensive stance that favors the shield. Do that. Favor the shield.
Take that!
It's your time to die!
On a great one ends!
Nobody died. Specializations. You've just qualified for a specialization, a customized form of a character's base class. Each offers a unique set of advanced talents and benefits. Characters may have up to 2 specializations, with the first becoming available at level 7 and the second at level 14, but first you'll need to find a trainer. Okay, so Mapo's leveling up now. So a specialization, assassin, bard, ranger, or duelist. This is cool. Okay, let's have a look. So, specialization bonus +2 to dex and plus 2.5% critical chance. The assassin finds any notion of fairness a quaint ideal that has no place in combat. Poisons are their weapon of choice, as are crippling strikes that inflict persistent wounds on their foes. As killers, assassins are a marvel of stealth and efficiency. A bard, 2+ willpower and cunning, +1. Bards follow an Orlesian tradition, acting as assassins, spies, saboteurs, and following other secretive pursuits in the constant and sometimes petty struggles between nobles. Having taken the minstrel's art to new levels, bards are skilled performers and master manipulators. Bards can inspire their allies or dishearten their foes through song and tale. Should we be a dwarven bard? The ranger, +1 to constitution and +5 nature resistance. Rangers have an affinity for open country and wilderness, but as independent scouts and militia, they are opportunists, not stewards of nature. They exploit every advantage of their environment and can lure wild beasts to attack their foes. And the duelist, +2 to dexterity and +1 damage and hit. Duelists are deadly combatants who prefer to fight in light armors and strike with light but precise attacks. Experienced duelists have preternatural reflexes that allow them to evade their opponent's clumsy blows as well as strike with remarkable precision. It feels like getting assassin and duelist would complement each other really, really well, but I'm also tempted to go for like assassin and bard as at the same time as well. Getting willpower, it at least grants us more stamina for combat techniques and special attacks. So willpower is still useful for us, despite not being a mage. But dexterity will be very useful for us as a rogue and also an assassin. So we can get specialization bonus of +2 up to a total of +4 dex. I'm thinking a bard assassin or an assassin duelist. But I think being a bard could be kind of amazing. Being a dwarven bard. Acting as assassins, spies, and saboteurs following other secretive pursuits. Let's go for a bard. Let's do something that what's really interesting here that I'm really enjoying about Dragon Age is I like stealth and rogue type characters in my RPGs normally, but I'm doing other choices that I wouldn't usually go for. Like I've never really looked into being like a bard type character in, you know, fantasy or an RPG, not really like a dwarf character, stuff like that. I've usually, like in games I've played like Oblivion and Skyrim, for example, I'll play like a human or a Khajiit sometimes, you know, because they're great being like stealthy. But playing like a bard dwarf and being like a bit like rough around the edges is super exciting for me because this is something I haven't done before, so it's really exciting. So, not yet unlocked. I guess I just press next here, right? Should be able to click on it. Maybe I have to do my attributes first. So, this will give us +2 willpower and +1 cunning. So I'm going to give myself some dexterity and strength. If I press next, will it take me to specialization? No. Why can't I unlock it? Oh. I thought that the trainer part was only for the level 14. Do I have to find a... Specializations can unlock through completing major plot points, learning them from other characters, or by finding rare tomes. Oh. I don't just unlock it now. For some reason I thought you get to unlock one at level 7, and I misread. I thought like you unlock the one at level 14 by finding a trainer, but it looks like that's how it works for both. Alright, so we either need to find a major plot, learning them from someone, or by finding rare tomes, and then we can become one of these. So I get that point. I just need to figure out where I can spend said point. The rogue makes a swift strike at a vulnerable area on the target, dealing normal damage but gaining a bonus to armor penetration. Dual weapon would be actually quite good. Bonuses to attack and defense. Flurry. Oh, my Knights of the Old Republic flurry move. I love that. 3 blows, dealing normal combat damage with each hit. Dual striking. Both weapons simultaneously. We're going to go with dual weapon finesse. And then I reckon we'll get flurry next time. Alright, is this the mother? She got mauled by a bunch of wolves? Oh, that is so sad. Part of me was hoping that she'd be alive and I'd be able to reunite with the child, but nope. It is true.
I shall do it.
I shall do it. We recovered her keepsake. You found the body of Saha, the orphan boy's mother. You have found her keepsake and should return it to the Chantry in Lothering as soon as possible. Okay. Nice. Let's continue to push on to cull the infected bears. I was just about to hit stealth. I literally, my cursor's going towards it. Never mind. How many other... Okay, 3 bears. Oh, shit, they're raging. Oh, shit, they're raging. All right.
Cross me and you shall pay!
Oh, Sten. Hang on. Hang on. Fucking dirty fighting.
Here!
Wolf. Actually, There's no point in stunning it while there's already another one stunned.
Put you out of your misery.
Charge!
By the earth.
That should not have taken as long as it did.
I don't think that took too long. Sten, that was good. Nice. Alright. The more combat encounters we're doing, the less people are dying. No beast is more beloved by Dirthaman than the bear. When the world was new, Dirthaman gave one secret to each creature to keep. The foxes traded their secrets to Andril for wings. The hares shouted theirs from the treetops. The birds sold theirs for gold and silver. Only the bears kept Dirthaman's gift deep within their dens. They slept the months away in the company of their secrets and nothing else. When Dirthaman discovered what had been done with his gifts, he snatched the wings from the foxes, silenced the voices of the hares, and turned the birds into paupers, but the bears he honoured for their steadfastness. Transcribed from a Dalish tale, 9/8 Dragon. Normally, it is almost unheard of for bears to attack travellers. They are in fact so shy and so inactive during the day that most people never encounter a bear at all. However, should a bear be provoked, they are remarkably dangerous. The normally placid-seeming creatures become enraged and can strike massive blows with their paws, capable of knocking a man off his feet. I like all the blood detail that I'm getting in my book. Look at all my bloody pages. It's really cool. It's like you're getting in combat and you're writing in this book what you learn, and you're getting your bloody fingers all over it. Great. Okay. Quest updated. All the diseased bears are dead and no longer a threat. You should return to the Chanter for a reward. Nice. All right, let us head back to town. I'm not sure if there is a ability to fast travel to particular locations. It doesn't look like there would be. All the maps seem relatively decent in size and easy to kind of navigate. Anyway, it would be nice if I could improve the game's like pop-in on like having decent specs for a PC, but you know, there's only so much you can do for an older game. I think if we enter a building and we exit it, we run over this bridge, we should be able to get some more dialogue out of our crew.
The path of righteousness is full of hardship, but the Maker smiles upon its travelers. And the stars stood still, the winds did quiet, and all animals of earth and air held their breath. All was silent in prayer and thanks.
Nice. Okay, got some more money.
It has begun.
And there are no quests available at this time. Okay, cool. I can move on with my life. Okay. Now, out of everything that has happened, here, I think we've not done too terribly. Like, there's been a pretty decent learning curve, but I think we've done okay. Something I'm curious about is we have the ability to steal, whether friendly or hostile, as long as they are not too alert. I want to practice something real quick. I want to see if we can actually do this, because I haven't thought about this, because the only thing that we've been able to do, I suppose, is you can't steal while in combat, and those are the people that you'd probably think to steal from. But there might be some quests or something that pops up where you might need something. Like, for example, maybe I could have even used steal on the revered mother and just got the key for Sten and freed him, you know what I mean? So if I use stealing... Wow, it actually worked. I just stole from the merchant. Well, it worked. I just got money. Okay. I didn't necessarily want to do that, by the way. I just wanted to practice. But we got an achievement. The dog whistle says it's a new item. I don't know why. I kind of wish that there was a... Yes. Thank you. Okay, the game has a sort by newest. That's going to come in handy. So we just got an Imperium crossbow, which we can't even wield because it needs 30 strength. We got an Oathkeeper longsword. A blessed blade. These longswords are often commissioned by the Chantry and placed in the hands of their most able Templars as rewards for their accomplishments. It's a tier 3 longsword. 10 plus to 10% to healing effects received. Nice. So I think we just stole these two things and got money. Let's have a look at Alistair. So he's got a tier 2 Warden's longsword. Cool. I'm gonna give you a new sword. And on your second set, I'll just put that in there as well. So I can get it out of my inventory. I'm gonna give you on your second set also the axe, just so I can get it out of my. Actually, I'll give you just the flat blade. Just get it out of my inventory. Lovely. I think we're doing all right here, aren't we? Okay. The stealing was a success. So it worked. So will I get into the habit of being a sneaky little roguish thief stealing from all the merchants in town? Maybe. We'll try not to make a huge habit out of it. But yeah, I was like, oh, we should try it, shouldn't we? Like, we should at least see how it plays out. And I guess being in stealth makes it a lot easier. I wonder how it works if we're not currently in stealth.
As you say.
Damn. We're just going to start stealing from everyone now. What did I get? Because I have it on sort by newest. Oh, I guess it would be the death route and the elf route. Because it just says items, and then the only stuff that was there. I'm just testing it out now just to see how it works. We're going to do it again. Just stealing from the chastened. Oh, it failed. Oh, they just... Okay. I was almost expecting combat to take place. You got abs on your armor. Look at that. For some reason, I was expecting them to fight me. Okay, you just get pissed off. Alright, well, I'm going to stealth then.
Silence is best.
I'm going to try... just try it again. Stealing success. What did I get? What did I win? A life stone. Okay. So what's really interesting is, I guess, these items here and items that you already have in your inventory. If you get another one of those, it doesn't go to the top of your inventory by being newest. So I guess if you don't see something new up here immediately, you can just sort of assume that you've just gotten, obviously, another, you know, item that you've had before. Okay. I'm gonna load that game, because that was just me practicing stealing. So we won't steal from the chastened. But that was just me seeing how it works. But we will keep our Imperium crossbow. Because how much can I sell that for? I guess we could just, like... You know what? I'm going to sell it. I'm going to steal it. I'm going to sell it back to him. Is there a thing in this game with, I guess, stolen items that you would need to, like, sell it to a fence? Or am I really going to just be able to sell this back to him?
Don't suppose you're looking to... All right.
Yeah, I just sold it back to him. He's like, hey, this was mine. Where'd you get this? So I guess that's kind of funny. Yeah, sold it back to him. So maybe that's something that we can get into the habit of doing. I'm like, well, let me have a look at your wares, without you knowing, and then, oh, I found this really rare item. Would you like it? Like, pretty sure that's mine, but I cannot prove it. All right. Now, if we go back to our lovely main quest, which is the Blight. Past the village lies the Imperial Highway, the road that runs through all of Ferelden. The highway will take you to various places you need to go. We can go back to Orzammar, which is kind of interesting. So we go back and check on our sister. Gather the mages of the circle. Cooperation of the Dalish clans. Orzamar's aid in battling the Blight. And seek out Al Amen in Redcliffe. Now, I think we were told, like, advised we could potentially go somewhere else first before heading to Redcliffe. What's really cool here is it looks like that depending on, I guess, your character's origin that you pick, would obviously affect which one of these. Like if you were a Dalish elf, it would probably be easier to gain the cooperation from them. And I'm assuming it might be easier to gain the cooperation of and gain the aid of Orzammar as a dwarf. You know what I mean? Shall we return home already? What do you reckon? A paragon of her kind. It does not pop up with a arrow yet, and I'm assuming that's only because we have to, like, head out of here and leave to, like, the world map, and then we get to choose where to go. So we got to get onto the Imperial. We have to get onto the Imperial Highway and get out of here, I suppose. So it looks like this is our exit up here. So pretty good. Done our Chantry quests, you know.
No, this place will be overrun by the Darkspawn soon. If we go, we won't be able to come back.
Alistair is letting us know that we're about to go through a point of no return. So it's basically make sure that you've done everything that you need to do here before you proceed, which is also rather useful. So like, hey, we're not coming back. That seems to be the case of what's happening in this game at the moment. Is it's very open, but at the same time it's got that sort of linear progression. Like we can't go back to the ruins of Ostagar right now. Once we leave here, we're not heading back. That sort of like approach, I suppose. Oh, there's enemies up here.
None shall see me.
None shall see me. I'm gonna go check it out.
Someone help us!
Oh, shit. Dwarven friends. Hello. Okay, so there's two of these here, and there's a Herlock Alpha and a bunch of Herlocks. This is what the good part about stealthing is. I can at least see before we get in here. A blood mage. Sealed letter. I'm gonna take it. Maleficarium regrets. Okay. Do a bit of reading before we get into a battle. I won't go back. Let them hunt and dread finding me. But you, Mellis, Melai, should not live this life. It would please me if you found a life in the Circle Tower. I left a few things there, mostly stolen from the enchanters. Sell them to fund a new path. Here's the thing. This is a pronunciation issue for some people. Some people say cash, some people say cache. I hear cache way more often than cash. It is what it is. It's the same people that say aluminum and aluminium. We say aluminium. The cache is in the study area, middle alcove. Goodbye. Okay. Who should we go for first? I could stun the alpha. He's stunned. I'm gonna get them to run and follow me.
You cannot win!
Now we get into a fight.
Come, let us end this!
Fools! God damn, man. Alistair is just getting bullied. He just gets so bullied because of him taunting. I'm almost tempted to get rid of it because of how much attention it brings to him. Which is kind of funny. It's supposed to be so useful, but at the moment we're not like super strong. So having every single enemy gang up on him is pretty shit. Because he's like, ah! What are you guys doing? Can you guys do something, please? This is my fault, because I'm not asking you to do anything right now. I should be asking you to do stuff.
I am ready.
At your order.
Oh, man. I'm gonna just run away.
Run while you can!
Okay. Oh, Sten. Oh god. Oh god. I'm gonna lose people here for sure. Alright, hold on.
Yes!
Using all of my greater health poultices now. Because we're very separated right now, that's why I'm just switching between my characters to get them to actually do shit. I don't like that my characters are so separated right now. So I should have ganged up on the alpha. I think I need to really have a look at Sten's tactics, because he is not attacking people sometimes, even with aggressive behavior. I need to say, like, enemy nearest visible, just fucking attack it at the very least, man. Like, at the very least. That's, again, it's my fault, because I should have put that on. Blood. Okay.
Mighty timely arrival there, my friend. I'm much obliged.
It was a little bit messy when we split up, but people still survived, and that was okay. I just had to go through all of my greater health potions, and that's not okay. You're welcome, my fellow dwarf brethren.
The name's Bodon Feddick, merchant and entrepreneur. This here is my son, Sandal.
Sandal.
Say hello, my boy.
Hello.
Road's been mighty dangerous these days. Mind if I ask what brings you out here? Perhaps we're going the same way.
I doubt you want to travel with a Grey Warden.
Grey Wardens? My, that does rather explain a lot. No offence, but I suspect there's more excitement on your path than my boy and I can handle. Allow me to bid you farewell and good fortune, though.
Goodbye.
Now
Goodbye.
Then, let's get this mess cleaned up, shall we?
Okay.
As you say.
Nice. All right. Small carved statuette. A small carving of a robed woman. Okay, we'll take that. Time to go and loot the battlefield. Venom. Concentrated venom. Nice. Alright. Time for us to leave. Hey. We made it through combat with everybody surviving, but I almost feel like I need to just have everybody have a straight up, like, enemy nearest visible attack move, you know? Or, oh, target of Alistair could be a good one. So we're going to have enemy target of Alistair attack. Because Alistair's going to use threaten and everybody's just going to attack him. So that could be a good idea. I can't wait to get the like a healing spell, genuinely. That's going to be really nice. I'm trying to avoid using tactics for healing because I like to have a little more control over that and not just have enemies just characters throw them out at will. So a target of Alistair will attack them because he will essentially be like, I'm gonna get attacked. Alistair will use taunt when surrounded. Morrigan, I'm gonna change this. I reckon we'll also have Alistair. So ally being attacked. Hang on. If Alistair is being attacked, we're going to use horror. Or actually, hang on, maybe light. Winter's grasp so we can freeze them. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Sten just attacking the nearest visible. Let's see how that goes. Definitely making like a valiant attempt to have some tactics make a little more like sense though, which is very fun. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, I keep forgetting the tactics of dog. I might not be able to. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I can change the tactics of. This was another thing. It doesn't show up because it's a 5th and an unofficial party member. So I have to actually select dog and then go into the tactics menu. And now I can do this. So I can do essentially enemy, any, and we'll go for Dreadhowl. Or actually, no, hold on. Enemy. Oh, clustered with allies. That's the one that I was looking for. So if you're clustered with your allies, then you can use like your buffs or heals and stuff like that. All right, I'm going to keep that in. That's good. God, there's so many that sometimes I'm like trying to remember. Yeah, surrounded by enemies. So when you're surrounded by at least 2 enemies, use Dreadhowl. Enemy health over 50%. Why just have enemy under 100%? Just always charge whenever you want. Enemy nearest visible. Use growl as well. There you go, my Pokemon, and then be aggressive with it. Cool. All right. Everybody has their tactics sorted. Now let's head to the world map. Quest completed. Nice. Lothering and the Imperial Highway. You've traveled past Lothering and are now on the Imperial Highway, which runs through all of Ferelden. The highway will take you to various places you need to go. Gather your party and venture forth. Perfect. Ooh. We get a cutscene. So this is the Archdemon, a dragon? Holy shit. Having command over the Hurlocks. The Darkspawn. I was having a nightmare about it.
Bad dreams, huh?
I was literally just about to go, bad dreams, huh? Like, I was just like, oh, that was like weird. Seems so real.
Well, it is real, sort of. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a blight.
That's so strange. Why didn't Duncan just tell everyone that?
He did. He said he felt the Archdemon's presence. Everyone just assumed he was guessing. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me too.
Mm-hmm. Any other surprises I should know about?
Other than dying young and the whole defeat the Blight alone thing, no. I'm all tapped out for surprises. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Okay, new quest, enchantment. Party. Oh, we're at the party camp now. So everyone's injuries are... Everyone's injuries are healed. All of your party's injuries are healed when you return to camp. Each party member can be found somewhere in the camp, making it an ideal location to hand out new equipment, give gifts, or talk. Okay, so that's really cool. I love that so much. So while we leave Lothering, and then on our way we like set up camp before we proceed back to the world map. That's awesome. All right. And I'm super excited because it means we get to talk to characters. Look at that cheese wheel. Look at that big ass wheel of cheese. That is a very interesting musical instrument. Okay, that is so antisocial of Morrigan. She made her own fire all the way over there. I'm gonna talk to my dog first.
Oh, why, you little...
Oh, Alistair's here, apparently. Did you just jump at the side of your own shadow again?
Oh, you're so funny. Such rapier wit. Your furry friend here took offence at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
Good boy. Teach that silly Alistair a lesson.
Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me. I once heard a really old legend about how the Hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh. Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
I like that it seems that the Mabari are actually capable of understanding what we're saying to them. You know, they react appropriately, which is very curious. Don't listen to Alistair, he's full of rubbish.
Hey!
So I'm not actually interacting with the dog, I'm interacting with characters interacting with the dog.
Oh, look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
Oh, it's such a big con. You know, when you look at when you do a pros and cons of people, it's such a massive con when they don't like dogs. God damn it, Morrigan. Why that gotta be your red flag, huh? I'm gonna need you to be a dog person. It's clear that Morrigan's a cat person. It's so clear. Even though she's told me that she's transformed into a wolf before, maybe she hated that experience. Can't be stinkier than what normally goes into them.
I am going to pretend I never heard that. The dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again.
Just go for the middle one. You heard the lady.
I don't want it, you worthless fur bag.
Well, that's just rude at that point. That dog is too smart for his own good.
He is certainly manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
Okay, so the dog's purpose in the party camp is to have interactions with other characters while the dog is there. A low, menacing growl. I like having Sten in my party because he just looks like Geralt. I just got a Witcher with me right now. We need to give him 2 swords. Steel for humans and steel for monsters. I'm gonna watch them.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Happy bark. Ah, finally, my interaction. Dex digs furiously at the ground at your feet. Trying to find a way through the earth, are we? Goes back to ticking. It's gonna take some time, you know. Well, good luck with that then. Dex ignores you and keeps digging. There's nothing quite like Dex digging his own grave. He always does that. Dex relieves himself in an inconspicuous area nearby. Classic Dex. I'm gonna leave him alone. He barks happily. He's happy to be left alone while he pees. I'm I'm glad we get a party camp moment at this point in time. It looks like both Sten and Alistair are in there interacting with Dex poses.
What do you need?
Because they both bent down. I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
I'm pretty sure we've already gone through this dialogue with him. Why have you remained a Templar if you hate the Chantry?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
I thought Templars were heavy plate, mostly.
That's just in public. In private, we have these yellow and purple tunics, right? Much more comfortable, and you don't break the beds when you jump on them during a pillow fight.
So this is where you deflect questions with humor, right?
I'd use my shield if I could, but I think you might actually spot me hiding behind it. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
And make up something more exciting. I do really want to know, yes.
Poke, poke, poke. Tell me everything about your life, Alistair. All right, if you insist. It's not like we have anything better to do, right? The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Al-Eamon had cast me off unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
What did you enjoy? Enjoyed hunting mages, did you? What did you enjoy about the training?
The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
I actually like the concept of my home being on the road here. I almost went to go with Orzammar, but I had a miserable, noble dwarf commoner existence there, you know what I mean? Home is wherever camp is, we're travelers now.
We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Though that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good, either way.
It can be rebuilt.
I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
We camping, boy. Alistair approves.
What do you need? Ask away.
How did you become a Grey Warden?
You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
I mean, before that.
Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
So you mentioned before?
It's really for the best. I'm not exactly the Chantry type, if you haven't noticed. I don't think I would have made a very good Templar. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
So we can get some good approvals popping up here when we talk to him about stuff, which is good.
Why are we stopping?
We are at camp, Sten. We're working together. I think I should get to know you.
There are Darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
We are in camp, Sten. I need to know if I can trust you at my back.
I am Qunari. I have given my word to aid you. We are not people of idle promises.
I feel like I recognize this voice. I think it's the voice of Lord Saladin from Destiny. I'm not sure who that voice actor is, but I think it's the same voice, which is quite fitting, actually. I've never seen a Qunari before. Tell me about your people.
No.
Okay. No. No. Why not?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of, the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
Okay. You were right. You were in that cage for weeks.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
You said you were in the army.
I am.
Have you ever fought in a war?
I have always fought in war, dwarf.
I guess it's like they're... Yeah, makes sense. What do you mean by that?
My people have been at war since the moment we set foot in the Northern Islands.
So the Qunari don't come from the islands?
We do now.
Where did you come from before?
Somewhere else.
This guy is very good at opening up. He's great. Can you be more specific?
No. I was born in Saharon. Of the land we came from, I know nothing, not even its name. I do not see how this matters. Saharon and Parvolan are distant. Ferelden and the Darkspawn are immediate.
I loved how he pronounced and like how it rolled off his tongue of saying Saharon and Parvolan. I like that he goes, no, and then actually does talk. What's your hurry?
What a strange language you speak. You say hurry where I would say duty.
It's not your duty to handle the blight, though.
No, it is yours, and you are chatting with me instead.
Well, you didn't offer to help me, really, but I'll ask it.
For the moment, you are the enemy of my enemy.
The Darkspawn are your enemy?
They have no more allies than a hurricane or an earthquake. They are enemies to all.
We should get moving.
As you wish.
Okay. So we did get some Sten approval there, so that's good.
Yes.
And then I think we can continue to engage in more dialogue potentially. What were you doing in that cage?
Sitting, as you observed.
Actually, you were standing. Cute. You're the silent type, I see.
Your grasp of the obvious is remarkable.
You gonna answer my question?
I did. Parshera, was there anything else?
I want to know what he's saying when he says stuff like that. I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
To answer a question.
What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Why would the Qunari care about the blight?
Why do you?
It could destroy the world?
Do you think the Qunari live on some other world, then?
Touché. Did you find the answer to his question?
A portion of it.
Don't you have to report back, then?
Yes.
When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
Why not?
It doesn't matter now. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting. As you wish.
Sten approves +4. Yes. Also, how the fuck do I talk to this guy? He is a prison within himself. He carries his prison wherever he goes. I cannot get through to this one. Liliana.
Yes?
Yes, I think you should go. Be gone. I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What was life like at the Chantry Cloister?
Quiet. It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. but it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Condescending? How so?
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly have love for all, the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
Prefer your ideas to the eyes of the Chantry.
Thank you. Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if I am worthy, not men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now.
It's really interesting that your characters in Dragon Age are not keen to have a chat. Like, every character that you talk to are keen to just, enough of this, move on. And it's a very common sort of way that they end dialogue, and I find it quite interesting, actually, that instead of you just being able to pursue the other dialogue options while talking to them, they always just end it. They go, I need to move on. Let's continue, you know? And they try and they shut it down, then you just have to talk to them again. I wonder why. I guess that's their way of trying to circumvent the problem of our character being the one to just always like say goodbye, you know? Maybe it's that. Like, we always have characters in Mass Effect Knights of the Old Republic, like you'll ask them this question and they'll give you this really long answer, and then you go, bye, you know? So I guess this way, it's less of a weird situation where they answer a question and they go, you know, anyway, maybe we've been talking too long, we should go. And I've now just kind of realized that that's actually kind of probably a little bit better, that our character just going bye after getting an answer to a question that we've asked.
Yes?
And then we just pester them some more. I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
What would someone like you be doing in Lothering's Chantry?
What is meant by someone like me?
Oh, God. It's either try and flirt and compliment them, or just go straight for the heart with words sanctimonious preachy like all other Chantry zealots. They don't teach you how to fight in the cloister, do they?
Did you think I was always a cloistered sister? The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
Affirmed?
We affirm our belief in the Maker, in Andraste and the chant, but other than that, there are no vows taken.
And why were you seeking safe harbor?
The Chantry does not pride, and you should. I desired time apart from the world. I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on.
So Liliana is also like a rogue class, and has some bard history. Interesting.
Yes. Well, here I am.
You were a traveling minstrel. Do you have tales to share?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
Okay. Know any stories from Orlais?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Orlais.
I wonder if this will get added to the codex after when we learn this information, which would be kind of cool. That sounds interesting.
A long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot.
Nice. Continue, please.
Aveline's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney, but Aveline kept her helmet on and was not discovered.
No man can kill me. I am no man. Love it. Look, one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones has got to be the female warrior characters, you know? So I love it. We love Gwendolyn Christie over here. Did she win the tourney?
Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the grand melee. Aveline had already bested him in the joust, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
Oh, I actually did not expect that. I was expecting a Brienne of Tarth situation. Did not go that way. Oh, I was hoping for a happy ending.
The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land.
Nice.
When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Orlais so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
Okay, that's cool. So she was she was martyred instead and inspired a change. I like that. That's cool. Do you know any Ferelden legends?
I know one, told to me by my mother a lot. It always chilled me to the bone. Maybe you have heard of Flemeth?
Let's hope that Morrigan's not listening. Flemeth? Morrigan's mother was called Flemeth. I met a Flemeth in the Qunari wilds. Well, let's do that.
Are you sure? Was she the Flemeth of legend? Flemeth, the devourer of men? Flemeth, mother of witches? Flemeth, demon-touched, who dwells in the mists?
They probably just had the same name. I like that it's just literally like, no, in 3 different ways of just saying, maybe not. She didn't really introduce herself as such.
Ferelden mothers scare their daughters with talk of Flemeth. They say that if you're bad, Flemeth will spirit you away and bind you to her forever. They also say that Flemeth mourns her lost beauty and will steal yours through your looking glass if she catches you.
Damn. Tell me the whole story.
Flemeth's beauty was known throughout the land. She had hair like unto a moonless night, skin as pale as winter's first snow, and eyes as beautiful and perilous as the sea. When she came of age, she came to the attention of the Lord of Highever, Conobar, and he took her for his wife. Conobar soon learned that his young bride had the gift of magic. He kept this a secret, for he feared that she would be taken from him. Flemeth stayed with Conobar for some years, and with his blessing, she practiced her art. And then one day, a young poet named Osen came to the castle. Flemeth was captivated by Osen's voice, and he by her beauty, and they fell in love.
This is actually really cool because we've read this story in the Codex, but it's cool to get a voiced version of this and have it told to us by a character. Ooh, the plot thickens.
Flemeth longed to be with her true love, and she and Osen fled from Conobar's lands, seeking refuge in the Qunari wilds with the chasing tribes. They lived there happily for many a year, till the day Flemeth received news that Conobar was dying and longed to see her face one last time. Flemeth's heart swelled with pity for the man who once was her husband, and begged Osen to return to Conobar's side with her. But when Flemeth and Osen entered Highever, they were captured by Conobar's men, and Osen was slain in front of Flemeth's eyes. Flemeth was imprisoned in the highest tower of the castle, there to await Conobar's judgment on her. Distraught at the loss of her love, Flemeth plotted revenge against her husband. She summoned a fey demon, intending for it to wreak vengeance on Conobar. But a spell went awry. The demon possessed Flemeth. Turning her into an abomination, the halls of the castle ran red with blood as Flemeth slaughtered Conobar and all his men. The last of Flemeth's humanity melted away, and at dawn, she stole back to the wilds to plot and scheme for 100 years. They say she took to her side many chasing men, and with their help, begat her daughter witches, who even now prowl the dark places of the Qunari wilds.
Cool. Tell me about Darkspawn.
Chantry lore says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin, and it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris.
And again, like another story that we've read, but getting more sort of personalized sort of telling, a personalized version of that story, which is really, really cool. I'm assuming that must be sort of like the event that kind of started the ages in how the timeline is constructed in this game. Like it was the ancient age before that, and then the first age was maybe potentially after the Golden City was turned into the Black City. Or unless that happened in a future age. I guess we'll continue to find out as we go on. And I will take that moment where I say we'll find out more as we go on to mention that there's been a lot of people that have sort of taken it upon themselves to go in the comment section and say, hey, no spoilers, but here's a bunch of paragraphs of all of the lore that you can find out in the game at later points, giving things away. I haven't read those things personally. My moderators have deleted those, but to save yourself the time and effort of writing out a whole comment just for it to get deleted, you don't have to explain or tell me a bunch of lore because it is a spoiler. You know, they like no spoilers, but here's all the lore just so you know it. You know, I'm going to discover it in game as it approaches me. So just a polite way to say you save your efforts. Don't spoil things. Just talk about what you love about the game in a non-spoilery way instead. That's what I would recommend, because I love being able to interact with you guys on a non-spoiler level. It's just unfortunately a plague upon YouTube is spoilers when trying to do a blind playthrough, so it's pretty hard to balance. But when I love hearing and reacting to the lore as I get it in the game, and then being able to discuss it with you guys instead of just having it all read to me and explained in a YouTube comment, it just doesn't have the same impact. You know what I mean? So we've gotten some stories, but we can say there was another story I wanted to hear.
Which one?
Do you know anything about the Dalish?
I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinder Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the dales in the south and settled there in a land of their own.
It didn't last.
The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
The Dalish. What do you know about Andraste?
Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker.
Damn. How did Andraste die?
Alas, it was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Maferath, a chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Maferath began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Maferath made a pact with the Archon Hyserian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burned at the stake in Minrathous, the capital of Tevinter.
But Tevinter has a chantry, doesn't it?
The Tevinter chantry claims that in Andraste's last moments, Hyserian's heart softened, and he heard the voice of the Maker telling him to end her suffering. He plunged his sword into her heart, and as her blood washed over his hands, he became one of the faithful. Dissenters said that the Archon only converted because he could not stem the tide of Andraste's cult, and was forced to do so to stay in power. We will never know for sure.
This is much about legends. Let's just move on. Nice. Big old +5. This is another thing that I appreciate, is judging by the +1s, +2s, +4s, +5s in approval, it seems that if you stay, it's not like something where you're, because Knights of the Old Republic 2 has this with its dialogue, is sometimes you need to engage in dialogue, gain their influence, leave dialogue, go back into dialogue, then you've unlocked new pathways. It seems that what's nice about this is you can do a bunch in one go and gain all of that approval and influence in one go. So that's good. It's always funny that sometimes I forget that I'm standing on like a higher level and I'm like taller than characters at a distance, but I'm also wider. I'm just so stocky. So we got a bunch of stories from Liliana. We've spoken to Alistair, spoken to Sten, so we're going to go now speak to Morrigan, and then we'll speak to our little dwarf friends over there. Morrigan, what are you doing all the way over here? You doing some potion brewing, some scroll studying? That's not much of a roof, though. You know, you're always welcome in my tent. If you get rained on, you know?
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to discuss something personal, because now there's no one else around.
We're in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Correct. Why are you still here? That's my personal question. Why the fuck are you here?
I am here because Flemeth commanded me to aid you. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer.
Oh, touchy. Okay. Do you want to leave?
If I wanted to leave, then I would go. I remain, so do not ask such pointless questions.
-10? I should have just said, no, I don't want you to leave. -10? Fuck was that? Fuck was that for? You know how long I've been working on your approval? Morrigan, please.
What do you wish of me? We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any. I am here because Flemeth commanded me to aid you. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer.
No, I don't want you to leave.
Then I assume our discussion ends here.
Oh, I was -10 again! -10 a second time! Ah! I'm so bad with women. Sheesh. Is there any way to gain approval at this point? My god. Holy shit. Well, that sucked. Hey, Morrigan. I bring you love.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
A fine gift.
Right.
You have my thanks.
Yeah, right. I guess that's one way to do it. Just, she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. Here's a bunch of things. So her love language is gift receiving, but not words of affirmation. She does not like that. She's like, fuck off. Our discussion is over. I'm genuinely tempted to reload because I just got -20 on my approval. And I just had to give a bunch of gifts to get back to only +12. That kills me. Okay, so I believe that we now have a new method of interacting with Morrigan, and that is anytime you talk to her, save your game beforehand.
What do you wish of me? If you must.
I can't believe that... Hey, let's talk about something personal. Do you want to leave? No, fuck you. Disapproved. Did you grow up in the Qunari wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
I'm about to go and join Club Liliana in a second. Because, she at least tells me nice stories. It's my favorite way of... You can probe me anytime. Oh, God. It's my favorite way of annoying you.
Would it not be easier simply to poke at me with a stick?
How about I use a large club instead?
No doubt 'tis the only manner you can convince a woman to obey you. Have it your way, then. What is it you asked if I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
And you remained unnoticed.
For the most part. Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring. Sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped, and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
I made Morrigan laugh. We're in. I'm going to be whimsical. I'm going to be a whimsical, funny dwarf jester man for Morrigan. I will make her laugh and win her emotionally guarded approval. That was quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Doesn't like physical touch as a love language either. And if I have any advice to give anybody, those two things that Morrigan listed that men assume, just don't assume those, and you will have a much better time. You will have a much better time. Because women are very strong people, the strongest, in fact, and very rarely attracted to you. And you will know if they are. You will know if they are. Just it's a good way to live. Always assume that they hate you and that they are stronger than you, and then you will get far in life. Trust me. I have no idea. I'm not human.
Do not speak to me of trivialities. Your culture is not so entirely different. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
This was the next thing I was going to bring up, is Morrigan's attitude and communicating with her sort of like abrasiveness. It comes from the fact that she's literally just had a terrible childhood surrounded by Flemeth and what Flemeth has done her whole life. Like, it's not been a good childhood. It's not been a good upbringing. And you are made by your environment. You know, you are, the way that you act in life is based purely on how you have been raised and what you know. And Morrigan is a prime example of that, you know? It's going to take some time to get her out of that shell, you know, at least as a party member who will sort of, you know, become part of the group in a sort of more vulnerable way. Like, you have Alistair, who's also had a shit go of it, and he deflects with humor. He's very relatable. He deflects with humor all the time instead of actually, you know, approaching the situation. We have Morrigan, who reacts negatively and kind of shies away instead of opening up. We have Sten, who just is a stoic no. And Liliana is much more, at least, you know, open with some things, but also at the same time is like, you know, we don't need to talk about where I came from before I joined the Chantry, you know. It is what it is. Well, I'm glad it worked out this way, at least.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
I will take a +3 approval. I'll take it. We got her to laugh and she thanked us for our comment. We are learning how to navigate the maze that is Morrigan. I'll take a +3 and all of my gifts that I had in my inventory for my mistakes of getting -20 disapproval, because that is my mistake for pursuing the same dialogue option twice in it and trying to think that a different answer would have a different outcome. It did not. And with that one, we will be bringing this episode of Dragon Age Origins to a close. I will be talking to this group as we make our way out of the party camp next time. So we'll talk to Sandal and Bowden as we leave and begin the rest of our journey. But this has actually turned out to be quite a good and productive episode of Dragon Age. There was a lot to learn in combat. We had some falterings, but we're getting more of a hang of it while engaging with the tactics menu and getting to learn more about our characters as well. New characters, in fact, and doing some side quests. Something in particular for me personally that I'm trying to do in this game, and it's a regret that I have from Knights of the Old Republic, is I kind of glossed over a lot of things in Knights of the Old Republic that would have been very crucial and useful to learning and getting better at combat much earlier. I'd never played a game with that sort of combat or gameplay before, and it has given me an upper hand to adjust to it in Dragon Age Origins at least a little bit more. Like, you're looking at much less of a train wreck in this game than there would have been if I hadn't played Knights of the Old Republic before. So I at least have a little more of a handle on what's going on. It's much more refined and interesting in this game, especially with tactics, which is really, really cool. But something that I'm trying to do is reading up on those abilities, those skills, those talents, properly understanding all of those and being able to apply those in combat, you know? In Knights of the Old Republic, I faltered a lot in those things. I didn't read everything, so there's a couple of things that I was misunderstanding in combat that kind of hindered my performance, and it's a regret that I have in that playthrough. So I'm trying to actually read through those things a little bit more, and hopefully that is appreciated as well. As I stand tall on this tree stump above all of my companions, I bid you farewell. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it and are enjoying sort of the learning process, because we will continue to improve and get better as time goes on. Loving the character interactions, really enjoying having all of my party for the most part in my group to get as much dialogue as possible. But something I do like about this game, at the very least, is the party camp system. Everyone's here. This is when you can start to talk to them, get more out of them, get approval, that sort of thing. I guess sort of the main reason to have the dog in your party, as well as everybody else, is you can still get that roaming dialogue between all of the characters, which I really enjoy. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Dragon Age Origins, and I will see you next time.